Have you ever looked up at a giant redwood tree or maybe a towering skyscraper and wondered exactly how tall is that thing without, busting out a giant tape measure? I mean, you obviously can't just drop a ruler from the top.
Or think even bigger, right? How do you measure a mountain? Like Mount Everest? Here's the incredible truth. You literally don't need to climb it. You don't need a satellite. You just need to understand the hidden geometry of a triangle.
So in this explainer, we're covering three main things: the language of angles, the SohCahToa formula, and real-world measurement. By the end of this, you'll understand exactly how to apply these tools to literally measure the impossible in the real world. We're going to decode the hidden math that surrounds us every single day.
Section 1. The language of angles, specifically standard position. Okay, let's just dive right in by defining our foundation, the angle. In math, creating an angle is actually a dynamic process. Imagine a flat XY coordinate plane. We place a starting ray, just a line extending from the origin out along the positive x-axis. We call that the initial side. Then, we rotate a second ray to a completely new position. This rotated line, that's the terminal side. And the amount of rotation between those two, that is our angle.
But how do we actually measure that rotation? Well, you're probably super familiar with degrees, right? Where a full circle is sliced up into 360 kind of arbitrary parts. But in higher math, we use a much more natural standard called radians. Instead of 360 degrees, a full circle is 2 pi radians, which means a half circle is just pi radians.
Now you might be wondering, why on earth do we use radians instead of degrees? It is such a common point of confusion. The reason is actually pretty simple. Dividing a circle into 360 parts is, well, totally arbitrary. Some ancient astronomers just really liked the number 360. Radians, on the other hand, are deeply tied to the actual geometry of the circle itself. 1 radian is exactly the angle created when the arc length along the outside of the circle perfectly equals the radius of that same circle. It gives us this pure, unitless ratio.
Think of it kind of like a pizza slice. Because radians directly relate the radius to the outside crust, they make our formulas incredibly simple. If you want to find the length of the crust, the arc length, you just multiply the radius by the angle in radians. Boom, done. To find the area of that whole slice, the formula is just 1/2 times the radius squared times the angle. But here's the catch. These clean, simple formulas only work if you use radians.
But wait, what happens if the circle is actually moving? Picture a spinning bicycle wheel. The wheel has an angular speed, which is how many radians it spins per second. But the tire hitting the pavement has a linear speed, like how many inches it travels per second. Because radians link the radius directly to that outside edge, you can find the bicycle's exact speed down the road just by multiplying the radius of the wheel by its angular speed. Pretty cool, right?
Moving on to Section 2. The SohCahToa secret. Now that we've got a handle on the basic language of circular angles, let's look at arguably the most powerful formula in trigonometry. What happens when we take an angle and kind of trap it inside a right triangle? Well, we unlock this whole set of ratios that let us calculate unknown distances.
Let's break down that famous mnemonic step by step, SohCahToa. For any acute angle in a right triangle, sine is the ratio of the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. Cosine is the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse. And tangent is the opposite side divided by the adjacent side. Just remember, the hypotenuse is always the longest side directly across from the right angle.
Actually, pause for a second. Because wait, this is super important. A really common mistake students make is strictly assigning bottom or side labels to these triangles. But what if the triangle is upside down or completely rotated? You have to remember that opposite and adjacent are always relative to the specific angle you are looking at. The opposite side is the one completely across from your angle, and the adjacent side is the one physically touching your angle.
And the best part? Once you have SohCahToa down, you actually get 3 more mathematical tools entirely for free. The reciprocal functions are simply the flipped fractions of the main 3. So cosecant is just a flipped version of sine. Secant is the reciprocal of cosine. And cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent. It's like a 2-for-1 deal.
All right, Section 3. Special angles and cofunctions. Let's make this a whole lot easier with a cheat sheet. In trigonometry, you're going to run into specific right triangles over and over again. Specifically, triangles containing 30, 45, or 60-degree angles. Or, if we're speaking in radians, pi over 6, pi over 4, and pi over 3.
Because all 30, 60, 90, and 45, 45, 90 triangles have fixed proportions, their SohCahToa ratios literally never change. The sine of 30 degrees is always exactly 1/2. The tangent of 45 degrees is always exactly 1. Honestly, memorizing this matrix of exact values acts like a master key. It lets you solve complex geometry problems almost instantly.
Now, take a look at the hidden pattern here. The sine of 30 degrees is 1/2, right? But the cosine of 60 degrees is also 1/2. This brilliantly illustrates what we call the cofunction identity. See, in any right triangle, the two acute angles must add up to 90 degrees. Because of that, the sine of one angle is exactly identical to the cosine of the other angle. It's like a mathematical mirror. Section 4. Real-world trigonometry. Let's finally connect this all back to real life. We are ready to solve the exact problem we started with, measuring that impossibly tall tree without having to climb the thing.
To do this, we need to establish our lines of sight. Imagine you're standing on the ground, looking up at the top of a tree. The angle between your horizontal eye level and your upward line of sight, that's called the angle of elevation. Conversely, if you're standing on top of a building, looking down at a car on the street, the angle from the horizontal down to the car is the angle of depression.
So the absolutely crucial point here is forming our invisible right triangle. Step 1. You walk exactly 30 feet away from the base of the tree. Boom, that's our adjacent side. Step 2. You look up at the top of the tree and measure a 57-degree angle of elevation. Step 3. We need the height of the tree, which serves as our opposite side. So we have opposite and adjacent. What does that mean? Yep, we use tangent.
Let's look at the actual math. The tangent of 57 degrees equals our unknown height, let's call it h, divided by 30. By multiplying both sides by 30, we isolate h. So, 30 times the tangent of 57 degrees tells us that our tree is approximately 46.2 feet tall. Literally no way, right? You just measured the impossible, using nothing but a known distance and an angle.
Let's do one last mini example just to really lock this in. Imagine a ladder leaning up against a wall. The wall is 50 feet high, and the ladder makes a specific angle with the ground. In this scenario, the wall is the opposite side, and the ladder itself is the hypotenuse. Since we're dealing with the opposite side and the hypotenuse, we just use the sine function to calculate exactly how long of a ladder we need to go by.
All right, bringing us to our summary and final thoughts. Before we wrap up this explainer, let's quickly summarize the key points. You now know how to translate the physical world into the mathematical language of angles and radians. You know how to trap those angles inside right triangles. And most importantly, you know exactly how to apply SohCahToa to calculate hidden heights and distances.
As the saying goes, the proper angle can make the difference between success and failure in many undertakings. Whether you're a pilot aiming for a runway, an engineer constructing a bridge, or just someone staring up at a really tall tree in your backyard, mastering these triangles gives you a literal superpower to measure and navigate the world around you.
But here's a thought to leave you with. What happens when we take these right triangles and drop them into a circle with a radius of exactly 1? We're going to be expanding these rules to unlock even more mathematical secrets. After all, what really happens when triangles and circles become one and the same? Join us